Hello and welcome to A Real Blogger Reacts to Alex Inc. Episode 2. I am your host, Pokematic. So yeah, there's a lot of inaccuracies with this show. And I'm going to review them and go into the problems with it, because this is painting a very bad picture of bloggers and whatnot. So, what is the conflict of this episode? Well, one thing that I see that's going to be happening a lot with this series is that Alex is going to be having to make the big tough calls between family, personal life, and business contacts and business problems. Okay, reasonable enough for a series about a startup company, where there's always the big problems of, do I do the personal or do I do the business? Work-life, personal life balance. Okay, I can buy that. I understand the drag of work-life, personal life, and also work-life, personal life hobbies. So, it's not completely wrong, except for the fact that they're going with problems that you would not face necessarily as a blogger, and that the problems that they are running into are not ones that they should be having right now. So, the big problem here in this episode is that Alex has to make 2 meetings. He has to meet with a guest, a big successful CEO from a startup, for the first or second episode of the podcast, or he needs to meet with Squarespace about marketing and getting money and whatnot, and financing and monetizing the podcast. Neither of those are going to happen right off the bat. Let me tell you, you're not going to get the offers right when you start. You're not even going to get the offers if you've been doing this for a while. You need to get big. You can't do this. He's a no-name. He hasn't even made a first episode yet. No one knows what the Alex Inc. podcast is. He doesn't even know what the Alex Inc. podcast is. There is absolutely no reason why Squarespace would be interested in buying ad space, in renting out ad space, and getting and monetizing the podcast right now. That's the thing with podcasts and all internet content. You're going to be doing this for free for a while. I've been doing it for free for years. I still barely make anything where I still would classify this as doing it for free. So, yeah. And podcasts, they're even harder to monetize because they don't have the direct ads like you would get with YouTube or whatever. If he's doing this through the AlexIncPodcast.com or whatever, he's not going to be getting ads. It's going to be very hard for him to monetize. The problem that they should be going with is that maybe doing a couple of episodes in, they have the problem that he can't get monetization and that he's bleeding dry and that this is a bust. That's the kind of problem that they should have. But, maybe I'm misrepresenting this because he's got the big corporate backing, which, again, is why are you getting the problem now? The thing with podcasts and whatnot is that they go for free for a while. They are done for free for a while. You lose money year in and year out. Steven Crowder, he said that his podcast wasn't profitable until the 2nd or 3rd year, and he was doing it weekly. My podcast, it's never really been profitable. I mean, I guess I could call it profitable considering that I don't actually spend money on it. It's all I'm losing is a little bit of time, and this is just my hobby, so I'm doing it for free, so it's not a big deal. But, Game Theory and whatnot, they're doing it for free. Richard Review Tech USA, he said he was doing it for free for years. He wasn't making a cent off of the reviews that he was doing for years. And that's what the problem is with this series, is that they're trying to say oh, we're getting the money real quick. And it's just, no, that's not how it is. That's not what happens. And that's why, if you are going to be going big, that's why you get the investors, so that you could bleed money for a while before you actually start making money. You can't just, because the money doesn't start coming until you get popular and successful. Success is not measured by the amount of money that you have initially. It's measured by the amount of views that you have. And that's how I measure my success. It's based on the amount of views that I get. And personally, I have kind of low standards for the views. Even if I get like 1 or 2 views on a video, I am happy. As long as I'm reaching someone, that's all that really matters to me. And that's really kind of what it needs to be the first couple of times. And for a while. And you get 100 views, you get 1,000 views, yay! Maybe you get enough watch time that YouTube allows you to get into the partnership program and you can start monetizing your videos. That's what happens. That's what it's like being a podcaster. These guys know nothing about it. Same thing with like the guest. You're not going to get big name guests for a while. No, you're going to be getting small guests if you can get guests at all. Most of the podcasts that I listen to and watch, it's like the Pizza Party podcast. It's just done with Pan Pizza, his friends Nolan and Izzy, occasionally his friend Jim, and whoever on YouTube or whatever that decides, hey, yeah, I'll sit in on this podcast for a while. That's basically what it is. And if you go back to all the older podcasts, I'm pretty sure that that's how they were for a while too, where it was just Pan, and a couple of his friends just talking about cartoons. And then eventually some people were like, hey, can I sit down on this? You watch the Completely Unnecessary podcast with Pat the NES Punk. All it is just him with his friend Ian of Luna Video Games. And when he does the Not So Common podcast, it's him with friends, with people that he knows from the internet. And they talk about other things and just kind of talk about internet, but it's just people collaborating. You don't get the big podcasts. You don't get the big guys immediately. You start out with the small guys. And it's just something that I can't suspend my disbelief on. That this guy has an unproven podcast with an unproven reach that nobody even knows what he's doing. And not only do you have a big name CEO that's going to be doing this, but that wants to be a guest, but you also have monetization offers from Squarespace. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. And it's just something that just doesn't happen. If this was a problem that they experienced in later episodes after he's proven himself, then okay. But it just does not work right now. And it's just totally unbelievable. That's something that they're getting majorly wrong. Whoever is writing this does not know what it means to be a podcaster and how to run a podcast and what it's like running a podcast. Yeah. So there's that. Then there's also the problem where it's like he can't be at home right now and his wife is like taking time off work to help out with the family. It's like, that's another problem that I have with this, is that they're completely screwing up like the home life work life balance. If Alex Inc. was a more traditional business, if he was starting a restaurant or starting a clothing store or starting something that is a lot more traditional in that way, that's not an internet work from home kind of job, then I would be able to believe that he would have the problems of, I need to go do this in order to make the business successful. But no, this all comes back to the problem that he's starting this wrong and he's handling this wrong. He should be doing this at home. He should be doing this in his walk-in closet like I'm recording right now. He should be doing this in his den. He should be doing this in the living room. He should be doing this in the bedroom. And he should be having that the kids are driving him crazy because they don't understand that dad is working right now. That's how this should be. That's the kind of problems that they run into. And maybe this is just me and my thought process on raising a family and trying to be a family unit. I can't speak from experience because I'm a single man. But if my wife had a stable career and I was doing a startup that I could be running out of my house, I would probably be more of a Mr. Mom kind of guy, the stay-at-home dad who has his own little internet startup and be more involved with the family to let mom continue with her stable career. So it's breaking my immersion on that level too, because the conflict that he has with the work-life balance is not believable.
Okay, maybe it's a little different if you're trying to run this professionally, but the problem is not that you have to stay at the office. The problem is that your family won't let you leave doesn't understand that you're working right now, that you're at the office, that you can't be dad at the moment. That is the kind of problem that you should be having, and that's the kind of problem that they should be writing. But obviously, whoever is directing this does not realize what it means to be a podcaster and have a job where you could work from home or technically wherever. They showcase that he could work from wherever. They do podcasting where he's working in the communal kitchen. They do podcasts where he's in the the common room, and they're having the problems with and people are saying you can't do that there, and they're getting interrupted by people. Okay, so you know that that's the kind of problems that you could run into. Why don't you do this at home where the problems are more believable instead of him being in this crazy office? And then there's also the problems with where he has his employees that are not agreeing with each other. And, maybe I can suspend my disbelief here, because it's his producer that got the meeting with the CEO, and it's his marketing expert that got the meeting with the Squarespace. But, I can suspend my disbelief kind of there in that they would have the problems and that they wouldn't be able to work it out. But it does kind of come back to the fact of you don't necessarily need people working for you to run a successful podcast. People have been doing this alone for years, and I get that they want to kind of have that dynamic, but it's just so unbelievable. All right, well, this has been Pokematic signing off, and bye-bye. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the end card. So, looks like I've got a new series that I'm going to be doing logs to. Hopefully it gets better, but I'm not holding my breath, because these first 2 episodes show me that these guys don't know what it means to be a blogger. And I wonder if this is how it feels when doctors watch medical dramas, or when lawyers watch law dramas, or when teachers watch shows about teaching. No, teachers that watch shows about teaching, they probably laugh. They don't know anything. They've got other things to worry about. But it's when you got like the doctors who watch the law shows or watch the medical dramas, and they're like, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. So, yeah. But hey, I got podcast fodder. So there's that. Yeah. Watch it. Maybe at some point they might invite me on. Wouldn't that be something? I doubt that I'm going to get that kind of reach, though, but whatever. End card things. Monetization. Because I have Patreon and Bitcoin Faucet Rotator and ads on the website. Those are the 3 ways that people primarily monetize their content online. Why didn't you look into any of that? And I run Google ads. I don't have specific sponsors. And that's the other thing. Specific sponsors, they don't normally come to you for a meeting. They send you an email and say, we'd like to get a little bit of a sponsorship deal going. Will you sponsor us for this video and we'll pay you this amount of money? That's normally how it goes. At least from what I've told, I've never actually had a sponsorship, but that's pretty much what it seems like happens based on all the other guys that I watch that get sponsorships. So there's another thing that they get wrong, in that this is new media. We don't do in-person communications all that often. We do it through emails. So yeah. But hey, if you want to check out real monetization, I've got a Patreon where for just $1 a month you can get your name up there in that little Patreon credits section. I've also got a Bitcoin Faucet Rotator where you can get free Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin and Dashcoin while at the same time helping support the show. You can also check out my website where I've got 9 years of content, where I've been doing this for 9 years and I know what I'm talking about, unlike the hack writer that made this episode. And be sure to check out the previous episode where I ranted on this, because that's going to be available through my website. Okay, well, I gotta go watch another episode. Yay. Bye.